Meditation is a path of transformation, just the way a solid ice turns into water and then turns into the gas, the steam, and then diffuses into the atmosphere and just merges with the space. You cannot even look at the existence of water in the air, in the space. It loses itself all the way from ice level to the water, and then in the form of water vapors blends with the atmosphere. Similarly, as we are meditating on the path of meditation, we are stuck with our body consciousness. We are at the material level. As we keep on going within and keep on observing the body, the mind is like water. It's like fluid. It slips and slides and trying to fit into this samsara, trying to grab things from samsara. At that level, there are still differences. At the body level, there are major differences. At the mind level, there are even more differences, because mind is mobile, chanchal, unsteady, filled with desires, beliefs, ideas. There is no way you can find two persons having exactly the same ideas or thoughts. Each one would be different in some way, at least. Meditation is to rise above the mind. Mind is part of this samsara. The samsara is full of differences. People living at body level will find tremendous differences between people, objects, situations. Likings and dislikes. Likings will come up. Blacks will hate whites. Whites will hate blacks. Tall will make fun of small ones, people, short people. Shorts people will have complexes. Each one has their definitions and choices based on which they will find ways to discriminate people, animals, countries. Each one has their own personality based on their own beliefs and ideas. So mind and body complex combined is a very primitive instrument that we have, which is always ready to count the differences between yourself and your surrounding people around you, whether it's a family, friends, customers, friends, patients, or other people in the society. Differences are numerous, but that is the cause of friction, suffering, hatred, wars. As we see, the expression of such a life is everywhere. Countries hating countries, wars. The suffering of the children, women, is everywhere. Abuse of others is everywhere. With so much suffering going on in this sansar, what can you do? Analyze yourself. Are you one of those who have differences with the world, the people? You have disliking for others, hatred for others. In a civilized society where the law is everywhere, people behave, people are courteous to each other. Under the layer of civilized society, the emotions hide. You may be having a boiling hatred for your neighbor, but because of the law, you will not do things which will be against the law. You may walk around or coexist with others without any choice because you are bound by the law. Law makes the society civilized, but that does not mean the minds become civilized. Minds are full of emotions and beliefs that lead to dislikes, hatreds. So your emotions of disliking and hatred are based on mechanical, material expression, material appearances of others. And that's why the world is full of suffering. It becomes artificial. In a society which is civilized, you will behave, you will not discriminate. But how can anyone stop you from discriminating at the mind level? Hindus hate Muslims, Muslims hate Christians, Jews. These are all hatreds happening, and they are real. They are able to cause the suffering of enormous proportion. So meditation gives you a chance to go beyond the mind. Once you start learning how to be an observer of your mind, mind is where all the thoughts and ideas and beliefs are stored, which are your primitive instincts. You'll slowly start rising, start creating a separation away from the mind. When you reach to a thoughtless state, an infinite consciousness, where you have freedom to exist, you are at peace. And most of all, you are in control of studying of your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs and ideas. Now that you have walked away from your mind, you are at peace. This peace is contagious. It gives you stability in your personality. Your mind will be still needed. Your body will be still needed to work in the society. But now mind will be responding to your higher authority. It's more of understanding than authority. The authority is a byproduct of your self-realization. Once you realize yourself, you realize the enormous power, enormous existence of this consciousness and a natural superiority over and above your mind. It has wisdom, it has patience, it is full of peace and joy. When such a bright and beautiful existence falls in your lap, you realize the insignificance of the mind. You realize the stupidities of the mind. Of course, nobody commits violence in a civilized society. And there are people who do, mostly we don't. But every single thought that creates the discrepancy, that creates the differentiation between you and your friend, your spouse, your neighbors, or all the people that you meet. Everything that separates you and them is the cause of suffering. The things which were separating you from them were your ideas, beliefs, and thoughts. But now you are observing them in the light of inner consciousness. This mind's tendency to create the differences becomes clear. Under the light of inner consciousness, you start seeing your own mistakes. Your strong beliefs, strong ideas start sobering down. These are the ideas which were creating walls between you and others. You start respecting others for having their own ideas, beliefs. You develop patience. You develop confidence and sure-footedness. With this, you become bigger. You become magnanimous. Your personality becomes more mature. And you start understanding everybody have their own right to exist and express their opinions. Under the umbrella of vast consciousness, everything can be absorbed. You develop tremendous peace. And at that level, once all your conditions drop, everything that is around you becomes acceptable, whether it is your neighbor or your child or your spouse. Now you are able to absorb their different opinions and still go beyond that. With the inner state of peace, ultimate byproduct is the love for all. Love was always there, but you were failing to find it. At spiritual level, there are no differences, not just at the physical level, but even at the mind level, thought level, beliefs level, emotions levels. You become bigger than your mind. And after dropping all the conditions that you had, all the ideas and beliefs that you had to hate someone or even dislike someone drops. Dislikes are the pioneers to ultimate product of violence. But Mahavir says you can commit violence at man, vachan and kaya, at the body level, at the speech level, and even at the mind level. The hatred or dislike at the mind level, without any other manifestations in the society, is still a violence. You go beyond that when all your conditions drop for finding faults in others, finding faults in the nature, finding faults in the government, people around you. All these things drop and merge into one universal existence. Then the underlying flow of universal love comes. The ability to love is an art which can be practiced only through meditation, where you realize your own ignorance of your mind, which starts quieting down, and the joy and love for all starts flowing. Just to be able to generate this love, which you don't even have to generate, you don't have to make any efforts, you just have to understand the craziness of the mind, mistakes of the mind, the ignorance of the mind, the spell of Maya on the mind, and then inner joy and inner love is always there to express. Just like a tree starts from the ground, goes up, goes through sufferings, and ultimately brings out the beautiful flowers, which spreads the fragrance around. At that point, it is the tree's nature to spread the fragrance, not a show off, not limited to some people who can enjoy that fragrance. The fragrance is the nature of the tree. Same way as you going higher and higher in meditation, you start spreading the fragrance of humanity, unconditional love, tremendous amount of perseverance, ability to withstand different personalities and still love them. This is a spiritual rise, and ultimately you merge with the consciousness where the whole world becomes the object of your love. No conditions. Hands down. Love for all. Hatred for none. Have a good day.